right, peace and much love. Zin Uru here. Welcome to the latest installment of Message from the Minister. This week's message is embracing reality. Embracing reality. We're going to go into the definition and try and define what reality actually is. You know, while I was preparing for this message from the minister, I thought about the movie The Matrix, where Morpheus is speaking to Neo, and he says, "What is real? How do you define real?" And just that question, those two questions right there, man, that's what leads us on the path out of the matrix. What is real, and how do we define real? What is real, and how do you define real? Well, this week as I was preparing for the message from the minister, I started doing the etymology in the Oxford English Dictionary on the word real. And then I was cross-referencing it with the word real from the American Heritage Dictionary. And I noticed something, and I noticed something very profound there for a moment, to see how, like, the powers that want to be, to see how the so-called educators in this colonial system try to even change the meaning of the words, even in English, from its older sense of the word and how people understand it now. Now, I would have all of those definitions up here and go into that, but that's a talk, once again, for a later date, because the etymology itself on the word real would take a couple hours just to get into, because it opens up so much discussion in and of itself. However, what I realized, and the major difference between how those our English-speaking ancestors, if you will, spoke the English language, that real had to do with Christ, with God, with Spirit. And now in 1987, or whenever the third edition of the American Heritage Dictionary came out, the Americanized version of the word real went from being a spiritual word to being just a physical only word, something you can only touch or feel, became real. So somewhere along the line, we used to see our reality spiritually, what the word real means spiritually. And somehow now they've convinced people that the only thing that is real is, you know, what you can knock on this wall. I can knock on that wall, and that wall is real. Well, that actually goes against quantum physics and when you think about it, because they say that even this wall now isn't real. If you go and see the movie, What the Bleep Do We Know About Anything, you realize that this wall is just a bunch of atoms bouncing around, and it's mostly made of space. And so this thing isn't even solid here. So even now, what we're dealing with is something beyond just the spiritual and the physical. It's really the metaphysical meaning of what is real and what is reality. However, I found it really interesting that they would do that on purpose to the population. Because remember, these guys, these secret societies that put together things, these educational institutions that put together things like what the English language means, and these definitions that we use this as kind of a common language amongst ourselves. But when we get into hip hop, intelligent movement, intelligence springing forth, being hip to our hop, being aware of why we move, language actually takes on a whole different meaning, because we're speaking what we call street language. And in street language, what we say is actually, in a way, code. So when Morpheus is telling Neo, what is real? How do you define real? Those of us who are hip hop, man, we were like, yo, this movie is real. A movie being real? No, the Matrix is real. I can see it all around me now. Now we have a common language. You can say, that was a movie. No, that's real. The Matrix is real. It's everywhere, you know? And we see with a sight beyond. We see with our spiritual eye. We see with our third eye, which is what the Matrix is about, opening the third eye to the actual reality that's going on around us. So back then in the Oxford English Dictionary, going back to the word real, it was speaking about a spiritual reality, and now it's only speaking about the material matter reality when we get into the definitions of real. So this week I'm only going to be focusing on what is reality, embracing reality, with the root word of reality being real. But I wanted to jump us ahead to our hip-hop overstanding and just give a quick, brief synopsis of my studies on the etymology of the word real, and save that for a later date. That's saved for classes. That's saved for when we do week-long classes at the Temple of Hip-Hop, when we can really dig into the etymology of a word. Well, right now in this time and space, and I actually need to take a moment to welcome y'all here, as I say every week, in spirit, in reality, there is no such thing as time and space. In reality, we're all right here, right now, in this time and space. So no matter how far forward in the future somebody is seeing this video, or no matter how far away someone is from this space that I'm in this room, we are experiencing the reality of spirit, and we are together right here, right now, in this time and space, in spirit. So I want to welcome y'all here and thank you for being here. Let me just sincerely thank y'all from my heart for tuning in to the message from the minister. Every one of you, you should know the only reason I'm making these videos is for you. You are the only reason that I make these videos. I don't make these videos for people who don't watch them. I don't make these videos for people who diss me. And if they diss me, I only make it so they can further hate on me. You know what I'm saying? Let their hate flow, because it only causes me to grow. It's like dirt in the soil. You feel me? Realize that's a reality we live in. Like when people throwing crap and dirt at us and trying to put dirt on our name, it's just dropping dirt around our roots, and we can just nourish that and compost it and turn it into light energy. So don't be afraid of the haters. Don't be afraid of those people that come out and want to diss your view of reality and what reality is, especially those of us who see beyond the physical plane. We see the cause and effect of certain events. We see the spiritual reality that we are living in. And we realize that the physical reality we live in is only a reflection of the mental reality that we live in, which is only a reflection of the spiritual reality we live in. So let's get focused then upon what we know is real already. Let's tune into that part of ourselves that is real. That realness that we feel inside. As they say, real recognizes real. You feel what I'm saying? Real recognizes real for real. Realize, real eyes realize the real lies. Real eyes realize the real lies. That's a dope one right there. Teacher put that one out a few years ago, and that's just been going through, my head and through my heart. Realize, real eyes. So word up on that. Our real eyes realize the real lies. We realize things. We are reality itself. And what we're going to do tonight is focus on embracing reality. Just embracing reality for what it is. Not trying to shy away from it, not trying to run away from it, not trying to hide from reality and create a fantasy or create some kind of self-induced coma dream state that's given to us by the media or given to us by, whatever those sources are that are trying to, turn human beings into they just manufactured products that just consume and ignore our spiritual reality. Because there is a force that's trying to do that. There is a force that's trying to distort reality. And I'll tell you something about this force too. This is real. That force, it knows the metaphysics. It knows the secrets and chooses to misuse them, to cheat, lie, steal, and thieve from people, to manipulate people and keep people from the reality of truth. And keep people from embracing what reality actually is. And this force, these sorcerers, these fallen alchemists, whatever you want to call these guys, the so-called Illuminati, the so-called elite. We realize that our real eyes realize the real lies that they are speaking to us. We see the matrix that they are trying to create, and then we see beyond it into the spirit reality that is actually governing everything that is happening. Because only God allows them to exist. Why? Because God is teaching us all an ultimate lesson. And what that lesson is the proper use of our minds. The proper use of our minds. And not just the mind. A lot of times we think, it's the mind is the brain. No, the mind is it's like the world is not the earth. The earth is vast and contains the world, which is a part of the world, of the earth. The world is only a part of the earth. The earth is vast, it's infinite. But same with our mind. Our mind is vast and infinite, but our brain, it's like the world. It's the computer device. It's the interface with the mind and the world around us. So let's not get stuck in this illusion that the mind is just the brain. Let's realize that when we speak about the mind, we're speaking about everything that the mind can see and comprehend. And we realize that we are becoming more aware of the mind and what the mind is doing, what the universal subconscious mind is doing, what this great unconscious mind is doing. This mind, now realize we all share the same mind. We all have our own brains. Well, most of us do. But we all have our own brains, but we all share the same mind. We don't each have a different mind. So we all share the same mind, the same morphogenetic field, the same source code. We all share the same mind. But we are these characters in this mind. We are these spirit beings within this mind that are interacting with really the mind of God, which is everything. And in the vastness and the intelligence of God, God has allowed us this free will, what we call it, where we're free to make choices, whether they be for good or for so-called evil, whether they be for right or for wrong. We do make mistakes, and those of us who have learned to make our mistakes and then transmute those into wisdom, this message is for us. But there's another side of this too that we haven't really talked about. I brush along, I go along the surface, but I would call these people out by name. But YouTube would censor me. I just want to put that as a side note here. A lot of things that I talk about, I would get into so much deeper, but I realize that by saying certain things that I really see going on daily, going on in the matrix of reality, I get banned off of YouTube. And not that I care about getting banned off of YouTube. I don't care about no YouTube. I'll go over to BitChute and put the videos up. But what this video is, why I have these videos on YouTube, is because these are just the basics of those of us who I already know see the matrix for what it is, see that other thing that I'm talking about. You already know what they're trying to do to us in 2021. You can see the constraints getting tighter. You can see the lies for what they are. You can see the media manipulation and the government's thirst for more power, more power, more power, like Agent Smith. You can see that going on all around, Agent Smith trying to inject his black goo into people and turn everybody into an Agent Smith. Now see what I did there? That's actually just code right there. Do you understand what I mean about Agent Smith trying to stick his hand into somebody and put his black goo into them and turn them into another Agent Smith? See, because that's what that matrix is doing. That's what the media is trying to do. That's what these pharmaceutical companies are trying to do. That's what these GMO manufacturers and food manufacturers and Monsanto and all these other things, that's what they're trying to do. Not on no conspiracy theory. We're talking reality here. We're talking about there is an aspect, only a small aspect of reality, but it is a prevalent aspect that is trying to manipulate the human genome, that's trying to manipulate the way people think, move, act, and behave. And that's going on every single day. But there is a real reality, a greater reality, that not only is allowing that to happen so that humanity can learn this ultimate lesson, and from this mistake and the evil or the wrong that these men and women are doing, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but the wickedness in high places. What these people are doing isn't what God is doing. God may be allowing that to happen. However, it's for the evolution of the truth, the evolution of what is real, the evolution of reality itself, yourself, ourselves, God's self. God is real. God is the only reality that's going on daily around us. Once we can see beyond the illusion and see with the spiritual sight that everything is God, we can start acting accordingly with the nature of God and in God's nature. But we have to see what is the truth of my being. Who am I in all of this? What is my purpose in all of this? What is God asking me to do in all of this? What do I feel in all of this? Who am I in all of this? And why am I in all of this? What is going on? What is going on with you for real? This isn't that kind of a lesson. I know who I'm speaking to. That's why I only get 50, 60, sometimes 70. I think I got 90 views on one, but I don't even know how many people are actually able to watch these messages from the Minista all the way through. Because really, I'm speaking to the future. Really, I'm speaking to the future, because I've been saying a lot of this for years, and I'm not saying it in any kind of way. Like I love my brothers and my sisters, but for real, like there's some devious things going on, and people are so either afraid of them or they're so brainwashed. Either way, they're wanting to escape into the fantasy of the 9-to-5 world. And I ain't dissing nobody got a job, but there's a fantasy world that people are participating in. Watching the news media, thinking that that's actually reality, when that's just the illusion seed that's being planted in the mind, the fertile gardens, to grow this genetically modified thinking that's not even real thinking. And so people are walking around with this genetically modified thinking, and they're not even thinking real thoughts. They're not even thinking about the actual reality. They're not even existing in that reality of what God is actually doing, because they're not planting the seeds of God within them. Because the media and the manipulators of the mass media are planting the seeds of thought. How many times does the media dictate what people are talking about on a day-to-day basis? Like if the media is telling people what to talk about, they're telling people what to think about. Is there any freedom in that? Can anyone say they're free if they believe anything that the media says, if they talk about anything that the media says is going on? I'm not saying don't be aware, but I'm saying be aware. Be awareness itself. Don't just have awareness, be the awareness itself. Be aware of what is going on. Be the awareness of what is going on. And if you can see the matrix for what it is, and you embrace it for what it is, as we embrace it for what it is, we realize that it's just a part of reality, just a small little part of reality, and that we are this vast being. We are part of this vast being called God, this vast network called the Spirit, the sons and daughters of the Most High. We realize that we're within that network, that neural network of God, We're in the reality of God as reality beings, as spirit beings, and we can affect even what the matrix is doing. And the bigger matrix, which their little evil matrix is just a part of a bigger matrix that they're interacting with, Maya, Earth, 3D reality, time and space. These type of things this matrix that produces paper, this matrix that produces ink and definitions, this matrix that produces the gospel of hip hop through our thinking into this reality right here. We can start speaking our reality like that into existence. And I say it like this. I think I'll get the definition next week for Spanish, but down in Colombia, it's palabra gráfico. It's like the graffiti word, the word of graffiti, the graphic word. And it's an old saying. Palabra gráfico. It's like the palabra being word and gráfico being graffiti or graphic. It's like the graffiti word. So realize that, I say like like we're like a spray paint can, right? And our head is our shoulders, this is the can and the paint, and we have all these things. And then the head is the nozzle. And so and then we're like our higher self or God is just this artist that holds the can by our head, and psst, and then our spit comes out like spray paint. Psst, 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 psst. So I spray hip hop is the promised land. I'll spray hip hop is the promised land. I'll spray love is God. I'll spray God is the only thing going on daily. I'll spray my name's Zin Uru. It means the promised land because I feel at home wherever I stand. See, our word is spraying forward, is spitting forward. It's water, it's coated water going out of our mouth and then hitting this matrix, this crystallographic matrix, all these atoms that are bouncing around. Our water coat is hitting those and coating that as well. Because even this has water in it. Everything has water in it. Everything is water. So with the spray painting on the fabric of reality itself, that's like the wall. That's like life. What are we spraying out? What are we springing forward, from within? What are we saying? What are we speaking into our reality? And don't get caught up in this foo-foo, nui age kind of thinking that, I'm only going to talk about good things, only things that matter. I'm only going to talk about that. Oh, why do you talk about bad things? All that shit that people talk about, thinking that if you ignore the reality of the Matrix and you ignore the reality of Agent Smith trying to stick his hand into people's chest and turn them into him, to ignore that part of the Matrix, that little part of that reality, is to ignore the whole thing. To ignore any part of the wholeness of reality is to ignore the whole thing. Now, we can't tune in with our human intellect and be that all the time, but we can be aware that we are at one with that, at wholeness with that all the time, and find that peace within it, that I have something to spit forward, I have something to say to this reality. But I've let go of the results, as Krishna talked about with Arjuna. I've let go of the results. Like I'm spitting forward my truth. I'm vibrating forward my truth. I'm speaking this truth. I'm speaking to the reality that I see going on daily. I'm speaking to that. I'm speaking to this all about me. And I'm saying the things as how I see them and feel them, and I'm learning about how I actually see and how I actually feel in all of this. And I see all this other stuff going on that's kind of distorted, that doesn't really match what I'm actually spitting forward. So let me spit about that for a little bit too. Let me reinterpret that for what it is. It's a teaching device. The same way that in the book of Job, in the Bible, in the book of Job, that God allowed the devil, Satan, to go forward and tempt Job, to take things away from Job, to bring pestilence and famine to Job, to take Job's family away, Satan had to go to God for permission. So even the so-called elite and so-called Illuminati and all this evil that they're doing, they still had to go to God for permission. Why? Because there is an eternity that is happening. There is an eternal being, an eternal God, an eternal creator that's never going anywhere and can't be defeated and we're part of that. We are that. That's what this is. That's what Christ is. Undefeated, the champion. the truth, the revelation, the reality. When we tune into that reality, oh man, we can start changing creation just by being. Well, we got to perform action, but don't get caught up in the illusions of action as well. Don't be caught up that just by doing something, that's actually the action that has to be performed. That's hopping, but not being hip to the hop. We got to be hip to the hop. Why do we move? Why do you move? Why do any of us do what any of us do? Why do you do what you do? We can all answer how we do things, but why do we do things? Pull up the definition of reality here. I'll pop it up on the screen. This is from the American Heritage Dictionary, 3rd edition. I just wanted to just touch on this real quick because this is part of the scholarship each week. This week talking about embracing reality. Reality, 1, it's a noun. Reality, the quality or state of being actual or true. The quality or state of being actual or true. Definition number 2 of reality. 1, there's that word again, 1, such as a person, an entity, or an event that is actual. That's a dope definition right there. 1, such as a person, an entity, or an event that is actual. A person, which would be a person, an entity, which would be an entity, a being, or an event. Like, that's deep right there. Reality is a person, an entity, or an event. The event is a reality. The person is a reality. It's saying right here in this definition, 1 such as a person, an entity, or an event that is actual. That's reality. That's why I'm saying you are reality itself. Embrace that. Embrace who you are. Embrace who we are. We are reality itself. By definition, in the American Heritage Dictionary, even they got to tell the truth. 1, O-N-E, over nearly everyone, such as a person, an entity, or an event that is actual. Definition number 3, this one right here, very important. This is the one I underlined for this week. The totality of all things possessing actuality, existence, or essence. The totality of all things possessing actuality, existence, or essence. The totality of all things that are actually happening, that are in existence, or have an essence. That's the Spirit. That's the totality of all of it. That's what I'm saying. Embrace reality. Embrace all of the reality. Just embrace it. Don't judge it. Don't take on its weight. By embracing it, you're not taking on its weight. What I mean by embracing, I'll get to that in a minute. Let's finish this last one. Definition number 4 of reality. That which exists objectively. You know what? I probably should have, your observations do not seem to be about reality. Number 5, I was going to say number 4 there, that which exists objectively, that's a whole and in fact. I mean, I don't agree with that definition of reality. I'm just going to leave it there. That which exists objectively, because that's what people are thinking reality is just, oh, the objective observer has decided that that tree is made of certain neutrons and certain nutritions, and that's an objective observer, and that's the reality. Yeah, but the tree is also made of light energy and it has an aura. So that's also part of the reality. And that's subjective because the subject sees it. It's not just an objective. Reality isn't just objective. A part of reality is objective, but reality as we know it is subjective. Because reality as we are it, being reality, see, this is what I'm saying. I disagree with this here. Follow me here, because it says here in definition number 2, 1 such as a person or entity or an event that is actual. So that's saying that I am it's a person. A person right here, number 2. A person is reality. You are reality. So be subjective to that reality. You are subjective. You're the subject of this reality. So to be that which exists subjectively as in fact. No, the fact is subjective. The fact is I am reality. That's the fact. That's subjective reality. I'm experiencing the reality that I am. I am real. So it's subjective. I disagree with that. Number 4, strongly disagree with it. Definition number 5, philosophy, that which has necessary existence and not contingent existence. That which has necessary existence, but not contingent existence. It's not contingent upon anything. It's necessary. God's not contingent upon anything. God is. God is necessary. Philosophy, I love that. 2, 5, reality. Philosophy is reality. Philo, love, reality. Philosophy, philo means love. Sophie means wisdom. Philosophy is the love of wisdom. That's reality, is the love of wisdom. That's what we were talking about earlier. Learning from our mistakes, that's wisdom. So we come here, we're going to make mistakes. But when we're wise, we don't make those same mistakes again. Because we learned, we suffered the consequences, so we don't make those mistakes again. Just like the so-called elite, the so-called New World Order, the so-called Illuminati, humanity's going to learn never to make that mistake again. And that mistake is going to keep repeating itself as it's kept repeating itself for millennia. That mistake just keeps repeating and repeating and repeating. And then humanity keeps realizing that that's a mistake, that's a mistake, that's a mistake. Humanity hasn't gained the wisdom yet. Hopefully it's this time around to move along from the New World Order after it's fallen and defeated, to just move along from it with wisdom once and for all and realize the mistake that the Illuminati and the New World Order actually are. Realize that they're just a big mistake. They're a mistake. And that we can correct our mistakes. We can correct them. We can correct our mistakes from ever happening again. That's wisdom. That's philosophy. That's actually the love of wisdom. And when you get down to philosophy, like the love of wisdom, like I love wisdom. That's how I get older. I don't even feel older. I feel younger than when I was 20. I'll be 48 this year. Just a couple months, I'm going to be 48. I feel younger than I've ever felt. I feel more vibrant than I've ever felt. I feel more aware than I've ever felt. That's wisdom in action. I love wisdom. That's why I love wisdom. Embracing reality. We just saw that your reality, the totality of all things, possessing actuality, existence, and essence, and what's such as a person or an entity, well, let me tell you something. The Spirit is the entity. You are the entity. You are the persona. You are the person, sonar, the sound. Once again, that sound coming forward out. You are that sound. You are the sound of God in this reality. Wake up, my nobility, and become that which you already know you are. Grow into that. Be it already. Be that reality. And by embracing reality, I cast the burden upon the Christ within by embracing this reality. Like our heart is the Christ within, this like soul fire, this purifier within us. And within this fire within us, we can embrace all things that seem negative or positive, and only that which is real will survive the purifying flame of the inner heart of the soul fire. We feel that soul fire within us. And then we begin spitting it forward. It creates this mist, this spit that comes out of our mouth. And the combustion, like in the spray paint can, the combustion then creates the spray, the spit that comes out of our mouth. And that's the colors. That's the living word. That's the living water. That's reality itself. Don't be in despair when we embrace this thing, when we embrace into that soul fire within us, that purifier within us. We can embrace the hard feelings. We can embrace the ugly things. We can embrace the so-called New World Order and what they're doing. We can just embrace those things that we were afraid of or that we try and keep at a distance because we feel safer if we push it away. Let me tell you something. The opposite of embracing is pushing away. And when you push things away, especially lessons and things that want to be seen, and things that are kind of hard to see, but you need to see them anyway, when you start pushing those away, it creates almost like a shadow reality, because those things start distorting like the aura and the field. And you try and keep them at a safe distance, but then they come back again. You try and push them out and keep them at a safe distance, and then the bad thoughts and the negative feelings come back again, and then we try and push them away again, and then they come back again, and sometimes they come back and they start tearing us up inside, and people go into depression and da-da-da-da-da. Now, I found this out the hard way, but I also found it out that this is the reality we live in. When we embrace it, when something's hard to think about, and we just say, listen, I'm not going to judge it. I'm not going to say I know what it is. I'm not going to say I know what it is, and I'm just going to embrace it within the purifying love of God. When this purifying heat of spirit, of this soul fire that we have, of this Christ within that we have, I'm going to just embrace that into the truth. I'm going to embrace all of reality into this truth. And then this purifier will then begin to just burn away all that is false, the false illusion, the false image. And then all that's going to be left is going to be like when Jesus talks about the separation of the wheat and the chaff, of the wheat and the tares, that the wheat will be all that's left after the harvest. That purifier is the harvest itself. And that harvest is just going to burn away all that doesn't serve, all that is not of God, all that is not of reality itself. It's going to purify those things that we reinforce it almost by pushing it outside of it and say, no, stay away from me. Oh, that's evil. Oh, that's wrong. Oh, that's bad. I'm not saying become any of those things, by the way. When we embrace, we don't become them. We don't take on the responsibility. But if something is, you're afraid of something, you're afraid of looking at something, for instance, they're poisoning the foods with mind control, like the foods, like those genetically modified foods at the gas station, like they actually have chemicals in them to control and dumb people down. For real, this is provable science here. They actually put mind control chemicals in those genetically modified organisms and foods and into the flavoring in the foods. And people just want to go, I'm just going to keep pushing that away. I'm just going to keep pushing that away. Not the food, but just the idea or the thought of that. And they may keep eating the food. I'm more comfortable that's actually evidence that mind control is working. But people want to push that idea, I don't want to know about any of these elite or so-called elite, or I don't want to know anything about this new world order, or I don't want to know anything about any of the media manipulation. I don't want to know anything about those conspiracy theories. I don't want to know anything about that. People are just reinforcing it by pushing it away. Being like, what, they lie about the food? I guess they do. Whoa, there's mind control chemicals in the food? Yes, there are, but you don't have to eat them. You can eat these other things. And the truth starts coming out that there's all kinds of foods to eat that don't have mind control devices in them. But this is how that mind control works. They got people just wanting to ignore the reality of truth, ignore the reality that's going on, ignoring the matrix and what it's trying to do. And they're duping a lot of people right now. And those people are making a big mistake. And for those of us who can embrace that and don't become it, if you become afraid of it, you become it itself. If you're afraid of something, if we are living in fear of something, we become that something. That's physics. That's metaphysics. That's the physics of the metaphysics. When we live in fear, the physics are we're going to become what we're afraid of. So if we're afraid of something and we keep pushing it away, we are becoming it. But when we embrace it, because out of love, out of courage, we embrace it and say, you know what? I'm going to embrace the idea that, there's mind control chemicals in the food. What do I got to lose if it's true? Boom. Oh, whoa. Wow. You mean they've been duping me my whole life? Well, I'm going to fight back. I'm going to resist. I'm going to change my ways of thinking. Excuse me. I'm going to change my way of being. I'm going to change my diet up. I'm going to switch it around because I ain't nobody's fool. I ain't going to be mind controlled by nobody. Let's, start inviting that in, start becoming what that is. And just start with anything that comes to your mind that you may be afraid of. Don't become it. Just embrace it. And then you start finding other things like hippopia, like, oh, I can embrace hippopia instead of being afraid. Oh, I'm afraid of that idea. I'm afraid of that idea. My little thought police are telling me that I can't build a city. I can't be part of a new nation. I can't be part of a new culture. Like, and all these little thought police are in there, oh, woo, 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 telling you be afraid, and all these little thought things come in and be afraid of talking about hippopia, be afraid of those people talking about hippopia, be afraid. No, then you embrace hippopia. Oh man, then you wake up to the love of what it is. It is the actual inner city. You are hippopia, I am hippopia. Hippopia is the inner city. Hippopia is everywhere. We become that once we embrace it. So we embrace all that reality, we embrace hippopia, and then we say, oh well, my inner city, I'm going to embrace the idea that I want my city streets to look clean. I want the water in my city to be structured. I want the air in my city to be clean. I want the food in my city to be natural and organic and created and grown with love and prayers and song and children's hands digging in the dirt. That's what I want in my city. You feel the love here that I'm talking about? You feel that coming through? Like we just embrace this love. We embrace the love that we are. We embrace the reality of what we are. We embrace the God that we are. Not that we are the creator himself or herself or itself, but we are the creator in that way. To think is to create. To be is to create. To create with one's hands is to create. You are a creator. I am a creator. And we have this magnificent creator that is sustaining all of this and all of the things that we don't see. If reality was just what we could see with our eyes, how does an aura camera work? There's cameras that take auras and pictures of auras. This crystal, for example, has an aura, a rainbow aura coming out of it. You, for example, most of us have auras coming out of us. Some of them are more structured, like this crystal, and some of them aren't. But that is reality. We all have this aura. We have this energy body just around us that there's certain cameras, an aura camera, that can pick up. That's tangible. That's reality. You're more than just what you see, touch, and feel, and taste. You're more than the five senses. You are reality itself by definition. And by the American English definition, you are reality itself. I am reality itself. We are reality. Embracing who we are. Embracing yourself. Embrace yourself. Embrace who you are. Give yourself a hug. Give yourself that love. How often are people willing to give their love out to other people who don't love them back, but not even love themselves enough, or feel like, oh, I need love from all these other people before I can even love myself or love who I am and love what God created? It's like it's disrespectful to God to not love oneself. It's disrespect to God. If God loves you, shouldn't you love what God loves? All of us got to love what God loves. God loves us. God loves hip-hop. Let's love hip-hop. Let's love us. I am hip-hop. I am love. I am God with that. I'm at one with God with that. But I'm not the creator of all that is and all the universe and the sustainer of all that is. There is this being of immense magnitude, unfathomable, but so in tune and so easy because we're just living in it and walking in it and breathing in it and being in it. It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating to wake up and embrace the reality of God. Embrace the struggles in your life. Embrace it for what it is. And don't judge it. Don't judge it. Embrace it for what it is. If you don't like it, change it. If it's not to your satisfaction, change it, but know why you're changing it. Be hip to your hop. That's all we got to do. All we got to do is be hip-hop. That's our purpose. Be hip-hop. That's it. End of lesson, right? End of lesson. Embrace reality. Be hip-hop. Hip-hop embraces reality, intelligence springing forward, knowing why one is hip to one's hop, knowing why one moves, intelligent movement. That is embracing reality. It's embracing it with intelligence. It's embracing it with the movement. I'm going to embrace my reality. I'm going to spray. Hip hop is the promised land everywhere. Graffiti writers, you hear me? Hip hop is the promised land. I'd love to see that piece somewhere. I gotta paint that myself. A giant mural. Hip hop is the promised land. Let's read from the Gospel of Hip Hop. I just wanted to read about truth. Just to in closing here, we're going to get into perform truth and the divine performance, the third overstanding in the Gospel of Hip Hop, written by the teacher KRS-One. The divine performance number 11, perform truth. Now, truth is the reality. You're going to see the word reality pop up quite often in here, and that's embracing reality, embracing truth. We'll get into these definitions here. Perform truth. Don't just seek to know the truth, seek to perform the truth. Be as genuine and as real as you can. There's that word real. Be as genuine and as real as you can. While everyone else is performing behind their variety of masks. Woo! Wow, what is that? I mean, just think about when this was written in 2009 and what that means in 2021. While everyone else performs behind their variety of masks and phony personalities, you must be the truth in such illusionary and fake circles. This is what it means to keep it real. It means to be true to yourself. Be your true self. Don't hide behind falsities and illusions. Such a performance leads to nowhere. Knowing truth is to know what is real. Performing truth is to manifest and actualize what is real. But what is real as it pertains to truth? Now here's where we get deep here. Pay attention, hip-hoppa. What we know to be real and what is real are two different things. Read that again. What we know to be real and what is real are two different things. We talked about that earlier. What we know to be real, which is the fragments, the parts of all of reality, and what is all of reality, that's the realness. The all of reality, that's what's real. Not just part of it, not just what we know about all of it. Embracing all of it. What we know to be real and what is real are two different things. Truth is the ultimate reality of reality itself. Truth is the ultimate reality of reality itself. So embrace the truth. To perform truth means that what we believe to be real corresponds with what is actually real. That's where we get into surrender. That's where we get into being manipulated by God. That's where we get into allowing God to guide our direction. Read that part again. To perform truth means that what we believe to be real corresponds with what is actually real. Do what you believe is real, does that actually correspond to what is real? That's where belief in God and the perception of God and the reality of God and our interface with that comes into play. And God guiding our direction from within and without. Paragraph number 3. Most people experience all kinds of things in their lives, and their experiences are indeed real to them. But in truth, their experiences are not real at all. Experiences in material reality are more the opinions of the observer than that of actual truth. Embracing all of it, because we don't know everything. God knows it all. Embracing God, which is the truth, which is reality itself. Surrendering to that. Surrendering that God knows all. Check out these acronyms here. Yes, your experiences are true, True. They are the reality you experience, see that acronym there? True, T-R-U-E, is the reality you experience. However, they may not be the truth. T-R-U-T-H, the reality you truly have. Truth, T-R-U-T-H, the reality you truly have. The material world is true, but the spiritual realm, which projects the material world into existence, is the truth. It may be true that you are in prison, but the truth is that prison was first inside of you. Deal with the truth, and you shall be free. Deal with the truth, and you shall be free. See, the material world is true. So that's saying the material world is the reality you experience. But the spiritual realm, which projects the material world into existence, is the truth, the reality you truly have. Embracing reality, embracing the reality that we truly have, is embracing the truth, is embracing God, is embracing the wholeness, is embracing all of it. It's the Spirit. Deal with the truth, and you shall be free. Deal with the truth, and you shall be free. Know this, there is reality, and then there is your perception of that reality. Reality is the truth, but your perception of that reality is a fact. It is true for you. In the material world, what is called truth is actually an agreement as to what is real. And these are called facts. And so many people rely upon the facts of life as opposed to the reality of life. All right, now check this out. This is performing the truth. When I'm talking about embracing reality, that's performing the truth. Perform truth, for truth is the whole, while lies are its fragments. Falsity is the fragments of the truth. Falsity takes a fragment of the truth and treats it as if it is the truth itself. Do not be led by falsities, illusions, and lies. Seek truth. Do not be led by falsities, illusions, and lies. Seek truth. If you seek truth, you will not be led by falsities, illusions, and lies. So seek truth. Speak truth. Perform truth. Be a whole person as often as you can. Be mindful of how many times you fragment and hide your true self for the sake of others. Practice being whole and transparent. And I would say this, when you fragment and hide your true self for the sake of others, that includes the media, that includes the government, that includes the colonizer, that includes those liars, that includes those thieves, that includes those sorcerers who are trying to bring you and your family down. Be mindful of how many times you fragment and hide your true self for the sake of others. Embrace your true self. Embrace your reality. Practice being whole and transparent. Truth is also freedom from the bondage of ignorance. Truth is the revelation of what already exists, but just could not be comprehended or seen before. Truth is the cause of awareness or awareness. See, notice this. Truth is the revelation of what already exists, but just could not be comprehended or seen before. Embracing that reality, embracing that truth will lead you to see things that you couldn't comprehend or see before. That's how we grow. Truth is the cause of awareness or awareness. I get it now. That's what God was saying to me. That's why I did that. Awareness. Truth is happening right now as you read this gospel. For truth is the ultimate gospel, but no gospel is the ultimate truth. Truth cannot be actually written down. In reality, Truth cannot even be described in words. All words, numbers, shapes, and letters are symbols which assist into the understanding the realm of where truth exists, or which truth exists. I'm going to read that again. Truth cannot be actually written down. In reality, truth cannot even be described in words. All words, numbers, shapes, and letters are symbols which assist us in understanding the realm in which truth exists. Words, numbers, shapes, and letters, even dancing, rapping, and singing, are all translations of what is reality, or what is really the truth. Therefore, we must seek truth beyond the material world and its symbols. And we must seek truth beyond our physical senses. These tools, these symbols and senses, fragment the truth so that we may create an ordered world out of the truth that is a chaotic oneness. Seek truth, be truthful, and perform your truth. And that chaotic oneness is just a higher form of order. What seems to be chaotic oneness, once you embrace that wholeness of all this reality, once we embrace this reality for what it is, it's no longer chaos. It's the oneness, it's the wholeness, it's a higher form of order that's going on daily. That's God. Perform truth, embracing our reality, embracing the truth that we see around and about us, embracing that truth of who we really are, embracing the truth that God has for us, embracing the truth of beyond these physical fragments of reality, beyond these illusions of the media, beyond these lies and these manipulations and all of these things going on. Seeing beyond all that to the true reality of God and embracing that truth, embracing reality, the reality of realities, which is the truth. All right, so in closing, I just wanted to speak to my nobility about these so-called thought leaders in society, these so-called fake gurus out there in society, all these white experts, white-splaining everything to everybody, and these white experts, white-splaining everything to everybody. They're not always white people. Every tribe and race is white-splaining everything to everybody when you turn on the media. All shades of people are white-splaining away what is supposed to be the truth. They're fragmenting reality and trying to say that's the ultimate truth. And they're not even telling the truth. That's why they're contradicting themselves, white-splaining, and these white experts all the time. They're contradicting themselves all the time. We see it. Like, it's so clear in 2021. 2020 gave us 2020 vision. 2021 vision's even better. Like, you see beyond just normal vision. So this 2021 vision, we can see beyond all these white experts, white-splaining everything away. And then we can see beyond all these thought leaders, these leaders of industry, these big tech leaders, the guys who run Facebook, the guys who run Google. These guys are thought leaders now. There's so much thought leaders that whether you hate the president or you love the president, no one should be able to censor the president of the United States. But these thought leaders believe that they can not only censor the president of the United States, but anybody at any time for any reason that they want. That's Nazi. That's fascism. That's communism. Plain and simple. That's true. That's communism. You can't censor the president of the United States unless you are telling the people of the United States of America that you are the authority now of what happens in that country. Now, whatever the checkered history of the United States of America is, no one voted for big tech to be in charge of the United States of America. No one voted for these corporations to be in charge of anyone in the world. So no matter what you think of democracy, nobody voted any of them in. Their laws are a lie. They are not law. Their mandates and their thought, they're what they call themselves thought leaders, always trying to tell people what to think, creates this false reality. They're living in an illusion, and they're creating an illusion, and those who follow that illusion and fall into that illusion, we'll fall with that illusion, because that illusion is going to fall in our lifetime, and it's going to fall hard. The New World Order sat on the wall. The New World Order had a great fall. It was great watching the New World Order fall. Don't fall with it. Don't fall with it. Don't fall with these thought leaders telling people how to think and what's okay to say and what's not okay to say and when it's okay to say it. No, society will do that. If somebody says something out of line in society, society itself lets people know, no, you ain't allowed to talk like that, my G. You ain't allowed to say that, my G. Before all these thought leaders, we had racism defeated in the streets. I'm not saying that racist people and racist incidents didn't exist, but before all these thought leaders started telling everybody about racism, and this a bunch of white splaining what racism is now, right? A bunch of white people, white experts, white splaining what racism is. It's nuts. It's fragmenting reality. It's destructuring reality. Embrace that as part of it, because that's what they're doing. Embrace that as part of it. These thought leaders, but don't listen to them. They're liars. They're manipulators. They're thieves. They're cheats. And if you hold on to what they're doing, you will fall with them. Just like when YouTube falls, all these videos will be gone with YouTube. These videos will fall with them. I'm not going to fall with them. You're not going to fall with them. Why? Because you're embracing reality. You're waking up to your true nature. You're waking up to who you are. And what was there? 3. There was the white experts. There's the thought leaders. Oh, and what about the fake gurus? Anybody else? You just see this all the time. These fake gurus with these complicated explanations on the nature of reality and the nature of the universe. And they come up with these infinite, just complex equations that make no sense and go nowhere and help nobody. And then they've got people convinced that if you don't understand it, then they're more advanced than you, or they've got it figured out and you don't. So you got to follow that guru. You got to follow that guy because he's got it all figured out, because he has all these equations that I don't understand. And since I don't understand it, I must not be good enough. I must be stupid. No, you can't understand a lie. A lie by its very nature doesn't exist. You can't understand a lie. That's the definition of insanity, trying to understand a lie. You'll never understand a lie. You'll only understand the truth. So when these fake gurus are running around lying and getting everybody's money and saying that they're so advanced in their experiences with the universe and they're so advanced with this, that, and the other, and buy this and buy that and follow me and go here. They don't have none of that. And all they do is lead confused people around and make people more confused. Don't get confused by these fake gurus. If you pick up a book, what was it Einstein said? If you can't explain it to a child, then you don't understand it. You know, Jesus taught to have a heart of a little child. That inner child of you should be able to understand that truth. Truth is easy for children to understand. Truth is easy to explain. Truth isn't complicated. Reality is easy. It's not complicated. All these, shape worshipers and worshiping all these different shapes and geometric patterns and saying that that's reality. No, those are just symbols. They're just a language of reality. Same with singers. Same with rappers. I'm an MC. I spit the truth. I spit what's true. But beyond all my words and symbols, I do know that there's a reality that I can't express and put into words. I can feel it though. Oh, I can feel it. I feel it everywhere. I feel it in my soul. I got my soul singing, my soul singing. Soul singing, got my soul singing. For real. Don't be fooled by the masses. Don't be fooled by the media. Don't be fooled by all these people that fragment reality and then create lies. And then by fragmenting the reality and saying that little fragment of their reality is the ultimate truth. And then come to find out that they're not telling you all these other things that they knew about all this time. We're seeing it in 2021. Just see it for yourself in your day-to-day living. In your day-to-day life, do you fool yourself? Do we pick up little fragments of truth and then we call it the ultimate reality and we just look at this little fragment for a while and then we get lost in this fragment but don't see the bigger picture, the whole picture? Embracing reality. Embracing it, because the reality is God loves you. That's the reality. The reality is God loves you. Embracing that, embracing the truth, leads us to the truth. We start vibrating with that frequency of the truth. We just start being that truth wherever we are. We are the reality. Wake up, my nobility, to your reality. It's like my heart is just singing out in love and joy and peace and vision. We survive Armageddon. We survive the New World Order. We survive Agent Smith's goo trying to get inside of us. Those of us who are just protected and away from it, don't just realize you are Neo. You are the one. And not even to use that movie as an example. That's just Hollywood doing its thing. There's a whole other reality beyond even the symbolism that I'm speaking of, beyond these words, beyond the gospel of hip hop, beyond any of the words that we're saying or speaking. There's a reality, a feel. The teacher calls it the universal feel, not field, but feel. The universal feel, it's a feeling we have. It's a knowing that's beyond words. Tune into that reality, my nobility. Tune into the reality of who and what we really are. We can sit in meditation or we can walk in meditation. Tune into that reality. And when things come into your environment that feel disharmony, you feel disharmony, embrace it. If somebody's being abrasive to you, embrace it. If somebody's being angry at you, embrace it. You will be surprised that when you see somebody's anger and you embrace it for what it is, that you see that person's inner child come out and all of a sudden you have this compassion and all of a sudden you might say or just be some kind words or say the right word at the right time. It doesn't have to be nothing advanced. You could just be like, yo, man, I hear you. That's whack. Yo, I hear you. Man. I'm glad you're okay, though. I'm glad you're seeing your way through it. It doesn't have to be nothing profound. You don't got to bring out every gospel and bring out all these things all the time. No, people just need a kind word, but they need to know you're hearing them. They need to know that you're listening. And don't put up with no abuse either. Abuse, there's no excuse for abuse. There is no excuse for abuse. Don't put up with no abuse. But if somebody's genuinely hurting, and you feel apprehensive at first, and you're like, oh, just try and embrace, that person's hurting. I'm just going to embrace that. I'm not saying you go up and hug the person. Maybe they do. Maybe you do go up and hug the person. I don't know. But just embrace the fact that person's hurting and say, that person's hurting. Instead of me trying to avoid their pain like they're trying to avoid their pain, let me just embrace their pain. I'm not going to become their pain. I'm not going to attach myself to their pain. I'm just going to embrace the fact that person is in pain. I'm just going to embrace that they're in pain. Don't embrace their pain. Embrace that they are in pain. I embrace he's in pain. I can see he's in pain. Oh, all of a sudden my compassion is, goes into that fire, into that purifier within. I see that person's in pain. I put that into the purifier within, and then all of a sudden the truth reveals. Oh, I could just say something like, yo, bro, I feel you, man. I'm sorry that hurt you. Yo, but I know you're going to get through it. I can see it. I can just see it on you. That's all I'm saying. I can see it on you. You got a strong spirit, my G. You got a strong spirit. God's with you. I know God loves you. God loves you so much. Saying things like that to encourage people, that could turn their whole day around. That could turn their whole life around. You can turn yours around too. Embrace reality for what it is. It's the totality of all of its existence. It's God. Peace and so much love to you, my nobility. I'm so grateful to spend this time with you. I'm so grateful that you took the time to hear me speak and for us to talk and consider these things. Because like I said, you're all here in this room with me. And being in this room here with me, I know that what you're thinking and what you're feeling, I'm able to speak that out. I'm able to articulate that across time and space because there is no such thing as time and space. In spirit, we're all here together. So I'm feeling you and I'm then seeing to all these spirit beings who are in here right now. So if you heard this message, it was meant for you. Thank you for being here. God loves you. And there it is. Peace and so much love. Yeah.